Hey there, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan. This is a 70 series Land Cruiser. We've got some boys coming up on a bike, so let me just run out of the way. So this is a short wheelbase version of the 70 series Land Cruiser. And this one comes with a 1HZ, phenomenal inline 6-cylinder engine. It's a 4.2 liter inline 6-cylinder. If you don't know much about this engine, check it out. It is one of the world's best engines. This is a post-purchase inspection video. This one's going over to Canada. The 99 is, I guess, the end of these in Japan. They didn't last that long. They continued making these now over 30 years. From 1986 until nowadays, they still make them in some other countries. Japan got a limited edition version in 2015. They called it a 30th anniversary edition, and they sold a bunch of them in pickup truck style. Which is funny because Japan never got the pickup truck or the Troopy. So if you're looking at this video thinking I could get a Troopy or a pickup truck from Japan, none of them exist here. So 270,000 kilometers. This is a later style of the gauge set compared to the earlier one that happened from 1984, 1985 till 1994. I'll pick that just in case. Okay, so the coolant is good, the oil is good, the timing belt has been changed twice, once in 2009 September at 100,000 kilometers, and another in 2015 April at 201,137 kilometers. These engines are known to last forever, which is fantastic. Land Cruisers are known to rust, but their drive lines, axles, all of that stuff, as long as you're not like doing rock crawling, they're going to last forever. And minor rock crawling is probably okay because we got solid front axle, solid rear axle. And if you don't know the benefits of those, you should check into it. Solid axles are generally desirable for going off-road or dependability. You're not going to bend your control arms. A lot of times cars with solid axles also have leaf suspension, like this one does. And that's easier to lift up if you want to. In fact, really simple to lift up if you only want to lift it up a little bit. Although if you do lift it up by shackles, you don't get more articulation. And again, if that doesn't make sense, then I don't know. Send us an email and I can explain why you want that. Okay, so let's have a look over the auction inspection sheet here. The condition of this one is quite good. These later model ones tend to be really expensive, and I would say they can be a little bit hard to buy unless you're really going in on high prices, especially for non-rusty ones. So a 99 Land Cruiser FRP top. Quick little note, FRP top is kind of the convertible top one. I'll speak about that a little bit more later. This one has a cool little Easter egg inside though. 270, 648 kilometers. Maybe a little bit above average, but still very dependable. And good to know that the timing belt was done properly at 100 and 200, so probably it's also been having proper oil changes and that sort of thing. Four-wheel drive, rear mount spare tire. Now the report here says seat cigarette burn and saggy. I'll show you that. Steering wheel wear, winter tires, underside surface rust, various scratches and dents. And then if you look at the body here, it is very close to perfect in terms of no scratches, no dents basically. I'll show you basically the only scratch in it is right here. Okay, and this is a late model front end, so it gets a more modern looking grille, bigger lights on the sides, and you get a chrome extended bumper. Some of the, like the frame gets extended all the way to up here for the extended bumper version of it. And then there is a narrow bumper version of it as well. But typically on the one with the big engine, you'll get the big bumpers as well. Okay, is that everything that I showed on there? Let me just have a quick look. And this one here is an HZJ74. So if you want the one with the good engine, it's the HZ at the beginning. Okay, and this engine, in case you were wondering, it's 130 horsepower, 210 pound-feet of torque. And so it's a low horsepower, high torque. Means it's going to be good for pulling stumps out of the ground or driving up cliffs or down cliffs. Not that you need much power for that. Okay, so the FRP top is convertible, but it's not really meant to be convertible. So it's a little bit strange. There's this kit version of it that you can get from Toyota, but I've only ever seen it once, and that one sold for like 30 or 40% more than they usually do. Well, the problem is, and let me just back up here, these doors in the back, you can take this piece off, that's no problem. The doors on the back would look really goofy if they're up there, because then you would have nothing here, and then the doors go up. The hinges are okay because the hinges end here. But then it just looks silly. So you have to take the doors off. And if you take the doors off, that also looks weird. And so you could do things like get a net or something. But there's a version of it with doors that are detachable, top and bottom, so that you can use them as barnyard doors. They still latch properly. And then the top can come off clean and nice. The windshield has provisions to fold down. And so people who don't know the Land Cruiser, the 70 series is the only replacement for the 40 series. So there's the old Land Cruiser, like the super old one that everybody thinks about. There's that, and there's this for the industrial trucks. Everything else they consider a comfort model. Okay, in terms of, before I talk about damages, I gotta show you this because this blew my mind. Now the earlier ones had manual locking hubs. What you do is you put it in four-wheel drive, and most four-wheel drive systems are actually gonna be kind of like a two-wheel drive. You'll get one in the providing you have a locking center differential, you'll get one wheel drive in the back and one wheel drive in the front. And in order to solve this, you can get two in the front and one in the back, as long as you have these. So these will lock your power at the hub. Now usually it's lock and free. See how this one says lock and auto? And so what this is it's a semi-automatic or complete locking hub. Very cool. You can have it so that it locks only when it notices the slip, or locks all the time. So if you're going to be doing like sloppy terrain, mud, snow, that sort of thing, you would lock this up. And it looks like you need a tool instead of manually doing it. I don't know if I have any, nothing there with a manual locking hub. Usually the high aces have them, but that one's too late of a model. They went to a full auto for that generation. And usually people want the dependability of knowing it's locked instead of an auto one that can wear out because they use clutches in them. Okay, where was I there? Damages on it. Okay, so this one has some surface rust on the body. It was not mentioned in the auction sheet. It is minor, and it's not something that is serious, but it is there, and it's visible, and needs to be taken care of. Actually, this one here I would consider a bit corrosion-like, but it looks worse than it is. There's some at the base of the windshield. There's some on the doors, and if you push it, you can feel that this isn't, it's not corrosion. It's not actually something that you have to dig out. You can just sand it and paint it. But there's a lot on the back of this top door here. And I'm just going to open this to make sure that you can see as clearly as it is in real life. So along here, the structure of the door is still there. But there's that rust. Now typically on a Land Cruiser, you're going to see a lot of rust down underneath here. And right here, this is the famous spot for it to rust. All super clean here, super clean in the back. And the frame, nice and sturdy. Okay, now you can see that surface stuff on there. None of that is going to be a concern. And I took a big look underneath the whole car and along the sills here where it typically rusts. And there's nothing. And so that's very good. So very, very clean body, but those little spots of surface rust, a little bit weird. What else do we have in terms of damage? Let's have a quick little look here. Front grille is peeling. Okay. Some paint coming off around here. It's kind of like a gray paint in there. The front bumper is made out of chrome, and the chrome is peeling. Okay. Cool fender mirror. This is for checking, like from the driver's seat, there's two mirrors. This one shows you the side of the car, and this one shows you the front of the bumper. You can actually kind of see the bumper in there. There's the hinges for the windshield. The kit that comes with those doors on the back also comes with blocks on the hood, and I guess they're back here. So the windshield will attach onto the blocks so it's not flopping around. Anything else? 100 series license plate. That's kind of cheating. They registered it as a construction vehicle so that they can get like 25% taxes. Kind of funny. Here's some more of that rust. Oh, once again, it's not hard. I mean, it is hard. Yes. Okay, open the doors up. It's interesting for me to see one of these late model ones. We sell so many of these to the USA and they have to be 25 years old. I rarely ever get to see these newer ones. So power windows on there. This is how you turn into four-wheel drive. You just hit that, otherwise it'll be rear-wheel drive. And then it has high gear ratio and low gear ratio here. So you can pick 4 or low. That allows you easier access to climb up things. Later model steering wheel on it. Still no airbag. I guess that wasn't mandatory. That's a little bit weird, to be honest. Seat has some sagginess here. The cigarette burn is right here. I still haven't shown you the Easter egg. I will now, I guess. See in here. This roll cage in here was a very rare option for the earlier models. It may have been on all of these later models, but I don't know. But having that roll cage in there, usually you would just have this hoop here when you take the top off. But now, roll cage. And aside from the safety aspect, obviously, this ties in this section here to the back fenders. This is going to make your chassis a lot less flexible, less creaks, and feel more solid when you're driving it, even if you don't ever take the top off. Okay, so digital gauge set there. Let me just... Oh, and this engine is lovely to start. I'm in love with this. If my wife wanted one of these, we would get one. She's more of a G-Wagon type of person. Not like we can afford one of those. Oh, it's nice. And then when you rev it, you'll get the car dancing on its suspension. You probably can't see it. You can feel it when you're sitting in the driver's seat. For being an inline 6-cylinder, it's so responsive, so nice. 1990s tech CD player. That's funny. I wonder if there's playing music.
ユニット組んだんですよ。金分の谷口マグロさん。
Okay, thank you, Taniguchi Maguro-san. I actually used to know somebody with the last name Taniguchi. Take that key out. Okay, so AC works. It's very nice and strong on this. Has been smoked in. Does smell slightly like cigarettes. I would clean it if it were my car. There is a cigarette burn. Is that a cigarette burn? No. There's a cigarette burn here next to the power switch. And in general, regular dirtiness. Okay. Place to hold on to when your husband's driving too fast. And look what I found. That's real corrosion, so that will need to be repaired. I did look throughout this and the other side just to make sure. Open this up and you get seats in the back here. This is a double fold style seat, so if you need cargo room, you can fold this down. The whole thing pivots up. You also have ice scraper. The car's going to Canada, you're going to need one of those. Okie dokie, let's go into the back. These look so awesome lifted with bigger tires. A problem with them though is you're limited in how big of a tire you can have as a rear mount tire, because you have to be able to open this door in order to open that door, and if the tire's too big, it gets in the way. I suspect if you really wanted to run this with a bigger tire, you could get some sort of a kit that repositions where the tire is. You want to make sure that you don't block out your tail light though. And if you were handy, you could probably make something like that. Put some fade on the license plate cover there. No corrosion in here. Very famous place for them to have corrosion, especially on this back section of the frame. Underneath that bumper, no corrosion. Looks all tidy and nice. And here you can see that those are bolted onto a section of the frame that has been reinforced. So it's not like an aftermarket job. It's actually official and has a purpose. Because the last thing you want is to roll over and then those to punch right through. Aftermarket door speakers on the back here. Generally clean. Got a couple of spots there. Rear mount brake light. That's actually, that has to be there for registering it in Canada, so it's good it has it. Door cards that match the fabric up front. And slide style windows, you can slide them for this piece forward or this piece backwards. But I guess you could do both at the same time and have a little window here and a little window there. Okay. Close and close. Okay, and I think that's everything for this one. So, Land Cruiser, my favorite. Here in Japan, I was mentioning earlier, you can't get the pickup or the troopy. The troop carrier is a widened back version with seats that face the inside, sort of like a Land Rover Defender. But you can get the long wheelbase four-door version here in Japan, and they're generally just as easy to buy as these short wheelbases. But naturally, with the short wheelbase, you get better off-road capabilities with this one. Okay, so that's all I got for this. If you have any questions, of course, let us know in the comments section. Otherwise, check us out. There is a link to the website in the description as well. So thank you for watching, and have a nice day.